Hello team players. For this video, I want to talk about death. More specifically, the changes to death in Pathfinder 2nd Edition and why those changes are good in some situations. Let's dive in. So first, for those of you that don't know, I should talk about the wounded condition. Basically, every time you get brought back up from 0 hit points, your wounded value increases by 1. When you go down to 0 hit points again, you add your wounded value to your dying value. This means that every time you go down to 0 hit points, you get closer and closer to dead. Pathfinder 2, we add this to give a penalty for going down to 0 hit points. The reason I'm talking about this is because the wounded value does play a part in recovery checks now. But before I get into the new one, I should explain the old version for those of you that don't know. Basically, when you go down to 0 hit points and are dying, you would roll a flat check with a DC equal to 10 plus your dying value. Every success, it decreases your dying value by 1. Every critical success decreases your dying value by 2. Every failure increases your dying value by 1, and critical failures increase your dying value by 2. If you hit dying 4, you're dead. Unless you have the die hard feat, which means you die at dying 5 rather than dying 4. With the new version, the DC and the success and critical success effects stay the same. What changes is the failure and critical failure effects. Now, instead of just increasing your dying value by 1 or 2, this also includes your wounded value on top of that. So Wounded 1 has become a lot more deadly. As if you're Wounded 1 and you go down, 1 failure means you're dead. If you don't have Die Hard. So why do I think this is a good thing? Well, for starters, I only think this is a good thing for tables that want a more tactical experience. If your table is new to Pathfinder 2e, or they simply want a more casual experience, I would not recommend using these rules. In that case, I highly recommend using the old dying rules. But for those players who do want a more tactical gaming experience like I do, this works wonders. These rules make everything you do on your turn much more impactful. Something like Recall Knowledge is going to be much more useful because if you find out a weakness, you can take out a monster that much quicker, which means you have less of a chance of even going into the dying rules. And something like attacking with a -10 penalty will hardly ever come up, because that's essentially just wasting an action. And with the new dying rules, you cannot afford to be wasting actions. And don't forget, hero points are still a thing. Honestly, I think a lot of creators are blowing this completely out of proportion. I've had a campaign go from 1 to 7 without the need to even use hero points to stabilize, let alone even have to roll recovery checks. But the way I see it, the new death rules pretty much cement the fact for me that Pathfinder 2e is a tactical game. You do want to take enemies out as quickly as possible, but that doesn't mean just do damage. Debuffing enemy attack rolls so they don't critically hit you is going to work wonders now. Or increasing an ally's AC is going to help with that as well. But just having these death rules is going to make the game much more tactical, I think, for some people. But consent is important. So GMs, make sure you ask your players which dying rules they want to use. But if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pathfinder 2e teamwork content. You can also check out the links in the description below for my Patreon, my Discord, as well as my social media. If you want to learn more about humans in Pathfinder 2e, you can check out this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.